Sabrina, I saw your post as well as the publication from Panache, Awesome Job. Hi, good night everybody. Good night. Just wait for a couple more people to come on and then we will start. Hey Kizzy. See me because I noticed now I switched the screens, so I hope you're seeing me now as well as hearing me properly. Please let me know if you're hearing as well as seeing. Good night, Dale. Okay, I don't know if it's because of... Are you hearing me better now? Are you hearing me better now, Sabrina? Just want to have a quick chat today based on some meetings that I had today in terms of... I guess it's my phone is low. Sure, no problem, but I hope you're hearing me. I was just saying congrats on the publishing in Panache. I saw the post as what you shared as well as what they shared as well. Really nice footage. That's really good. Good content that you can use now for your social media and even other things. You're welcome. That's fine, I knew what you meant. No worries there. Yeah, so hi Nessa, good night. Actually, I think I should invite Nissa at some point when we want to do some more stuff in terms of what retailers are looking for. In terms of, yes, you may think you're ready for retailers. We spoke about that before, but maybe sometimes it's good to hear the perspective from a retailer themselves in terms of what they're looking for in their space. But tonight we just want to talk a bit about goals and the vision for your business. Goals in terms of your branding as well as for your overall business. Hi Giselle, good night. So it's just in terms of where do you see yourself at the end of this month, possibly, which is next week, at the end of this year, possibly in 2 years, 3 years, where do you see yourself and your business and your brand, your business? So just want to talk a bit about that. How are you? Good night, Janice. Hi, Audra. So we just want to know in terms of where do you see yourself, where do you see your brand going, where are you right now, and based on whatever goals or plans you may have had for yourself at the beginning of this year, are you near or close to what you expected to be at this point? And maybe you're stuck and trying to figure out what's the next step. So just wanted to talk about that. You have to go through these things, possibly monthly or quarterly as the year progresses, because things change, markets change, your product may change, your resources may change. A lot may change in terms of your planning on your business, so you have to ensure that you are able to kind of adapt when need be, have contingencies, or be able to kind of roll with the punches, because not everything is black and white. You may have your plans, as you may see behind me. I have a lot of different things written down, printed out, but things always change, and you have to be able to move with that change. Yeah, so we just want to chat a bit about that. So let's have a couple points on it. Anybody can interject at any point if need be. But as I was saying before, that you do your stuff at least every month. So we want to see in terms of at the end of this month, where do you see yourself? It's almost a new... first half of the year is almost done. After June, that's it. So where are you right now in terms of that? And how do you see yourself in terms of if you need to push yourself forward? Maybe it's based on you're not even targeting the right market through your customers, your retailers, your buyers. Possibly you may need to do a brand audit. We would have spoken about before. So you need to know where you are, where you stand, where your competitors stand. If your market is still the same market that you were always attracting, is your message and story, if it's consistent, if it's relatable, if you're being engaging enough, if everything in terms of your logo, packaging, and even with what you're doing outside of your presentation, your customer service, if they all align. If these things do not then align to your goal or strategy at the end of the month, then you really need to kind of check yourself. You need to see if where you want to be, if you're on that right track, if you're on that right path. Sometimes you may need to take a step back and really do some introspection in terms of where you should be. I was had a meeting today in terms of someone was saying that their clientele is so vast, it's across the board. That's no problem, but you cannot serve everyone. You should know who your clientele is in terms of who they are, where they buy, how often they buy, what do they spend on, how often do they spend, and if it's just for special occasions or outside of that, if they're just purchasing on a whim, you then need to produce for them. You're not saying to try to produce for everyone and all things, because then you can't be a master of all trades. You have to ensure that you are producing what sells, what your client wants, or even sometimes what you may want your clients to be a part of. Good night, Kevon. Good night, Arnold. Hi, Paula. Hi, Anika. And good night, Sheldon. Just want to say hi as people join. So you really have to ensure that you do that proper market research before, so you know exactly as well to where your brand is going in terms of it's aligning to your goals, that you are then targeting the right people, and that your message then attracts this person or these people, that group, then that market. So you know for sure that your market research is done, so then your goals can then be aligned to whatever research you're doing. Sorry, I said hi, Janice. I don't think you heard me, but hi again, Janice. Right, yes, you actually did do that survey recently, because you were asking people if they have ever purchased from you, how often do they purchase, why do they purchase, what types of items do they purchase. The thing is, as you said, you may not be able to get it as cookie cutter as you would expect, but it is, at least the research and survey is done, and that information is received for you to then better serve or better plan, for you to then do that proper strategy for your business. So that was actually, I was supposed to commend you on that when I saw it and I forgot. That survey is something you need to do, especially if you're thinking that you're rebranding, because you just came out with a new logo. So you're doing some sort of rebrand, yes, you're seeing that. So then you're ensuring now that with that rebrand, that the products now that you're producing match both your logo and even the market now that is attracted to your brand. You're welcome. So it's something that you have to do. So a survey can be done. That's part of a brand audit as well. You can just possibly ask questions, open-ended questions on your postings, send out newsletters letting people know that this is what's happening now with the brand, or possibly find out what they're looking for. Ask a question. Sometimes you may think you have the right message being sent out or the right market, but it may not be. So these are things that you have to ensure that are aligned with where your goals want to be. So is it that you want to then produce more or end up into a new market, or at a point in time expand as you're doing outside of jewelry, possibly into clothing, or vice versa, or even if your goal is then to collaborate with others, you have to ensure that your market is ready and accepting to something like this. Because if this is not what they want, then why are you doing it? Because you're then doing this for them as well. They become your brand ambassadors. If no one purchases your stuff, if no one believes in what you're doing, who are you doing it for? So these things as well also have to align with what you're doing with your goals. So again, it starts not only from, yes, it's true, you may have these dreams and aspirations, good night, as to where you want your brand to go, but as I said, based on the market out here, the climate, you have to be familiar and even pay attention to what's going on around you to ensure that you do fulfill those goals that you have for yourself, or find ways to tweak it to at least get closer to these goals. They may change along the way, that does happen, that's okay, but as I said, you have those contingencies or some sort of way that you can then work around it to find some way to then attract your goal or get to that goal based on your objectives and your mission, and possibly a new outcome may come out of it, but it's still something that's positive. So it's really what you have to look into before doing these things. Your mission and your vision in terms of where you want to be and how do you get there. You plan out and you map out. As I said, if it's quarterly and then you break that down to every month. So in terms of at the end of each month, you should find some way that you can say, okay, I need to get to ABC. By the end of the first month, I should have finished or accomplished A, or at least closer to becoming closer to A. It's something that you have to look at. It's something you have to map out. It can't be just in your head, unless you're really, really great at keeping all these things in your head. You go right ahead. But it really is something that you should really try mapping out. Write it down somewhere. It doesn't have to be professionally done in this full plan and survey and all these things. Sometimes have a notebook, have a journal, you write these things down. Good night, Sinead. And you place it, if, as I said, if it's on a calendar where you have the monthly things that you need to get done. If it's a weekly plan that you do, you put these things together and you keep checking and you recheck and you mark off or check off as things are accomplished. Check in with your market at times too, because again, things would have been changing with them, so you want to ensure that they are on the right path with you as well. So these are things that you have to ensure. If your goal is possibly getting into new retail space, then obviously one of your objectives or your mission then would always be that you are then pitching to these right people. You're doing the research to get into proper retail spaces. You don't just can't wait for it to happen or just walk into a store and expect them to just take your things. That can happen to you if you're very lucky, but there is some work that needs to be done. So how are you then reaching this goal? If you need to get into greater markets, is it that you're saving that money to go to these trade shows or to go to some fashion show where you can possibly meet a buyer or a publisher or maybe some blogger that can then, good night Ophelia, that can then bring you to that goal. Again, so as I said, you break it down into steps. As you said, you break it down into steps and you ensure that you mark off and check off as things go along. It does not come all at once. You cannot then, or sometimes yes, it's good to look at the outside market or persons that are doing things similar to you in terms of your competitors, but everybody's brand is different, everybody's process is different, so you have to ensure that what you're doing suits your business, suits your personality as well, because you may be doing something that you start and you can't finish because the structure is not for you. Find ways that can work well with what you are doing, that's what you are comfortable with. So is it something that you may check in with? Do you need an accountability partner? Do you need to list things regularly to remember? Do you need to put notes on your phone, write things down, to have those sticky notes? It's things that you have to start doing to ensure that you can then reach your goals. And as I said, you check back as it monthly, quarterly, to ensure that you are on the right path of where you need to be for your goals. So you know where your goals are, you know where you need to go. Sorry, 1 second. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Sometimes yes, the disadvantages for at times I'm working at home. But yes, you have to ensure that you know where you're going, how you're getting there, and what it takes to get there. So you ensure, good night, so you ensure that you make those steps in terms of those processes to get there. Where you're going in terms of your end goal and your end results. Is it that at the end of the week or the end of the month your sales have increased, or your production has increased, or even your social media or your mailing list has increased? What are you doing to then ensure that these things happen? Is it that you're putting out more newsletters or more engagements on social media so that people will know to follow you? You have call to action to let people follow you. Go on your website, see what's going on, and there's some click away that they can increase. They can then send in their information so that your mailing list increases. That's one way to do it. Your production, then of course you have to do research. See who else is out there that is doing production similar to what you need to get done. You do those interviews with these people, or maybe you have meetings with them, you see their samples, their work, you add them to your roster. So then your production increases. You need to get into new retail spaces, you do your research. You need to get more sales, obviously you produce more, you market more, you brand more, you go to more events to get those sales out there. Even let, as I said, your brand ambassadors, your current customers promote for you. These are ways that, as I said, you can then achieve these goals. Get these things written down, have these things marked off as they go along, and keep it going. The thing is that you just don't stop. There are days that are tough, we all know this, but you have to remember that this is what you want to do. It's not just you're doing this for fun. Well, I hope not. It's not a hobby. What you're doing, fashion is a business. This is a business that you're running, so do treat it that way. Thank you. So you have to ensure, even for photography and stuff like that as well, or anything that you're doing, there must be a way that you are showing processes, you're showing those outcomes that come out of your action, that you can move forward. That's the only way that things can then build. You should not be in the same space when you look back to 2016. Today's May 16th, last year, you are supposed to be able to at least see some sort of progress from that date to now. And that will be from your goals, so that you can show that this progress has been made, what outcome came from last year to now. And when it's 2018, we expect to see, of course, more. So it's just ways for you to really think about what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how to get to new and higher heights. I really do hope that this information was helpful in some way or the other. I try to keep the videos as short as possible, and tonight we'll keep it that way. Still trying to upload most of them. If you have missed, they will be on our website soon, hopefully by the end of this week. Yes, you have to learn and practice the business of fashion. So true, Janice. Because as I said, it's not a hobby. Even if it is a hobby, because we know some people just like to sew, they may just be creative, but they don't take it seriously. But the ones who are on here who call themselves designers, creatives, artisans, makers, producers, production persons, photographers, makeup artists, it is all a part of the business of fashion, and we should be treated as such. As I said, you have to take it seriously. The same way if you were running a store, any type of store, a drugstore, a bar, you would have your finances in place. Maybe you have an accountant or not. Find an app. It doesn't have to be something very serious or something very technical that you cannot understand. You find something that you can use if you're doing it on your own, or you can ask for help if need be. I'm here for certain things, not everything. Good night, Adele. But you find ways that you then put processes in place that it can be run as a proper business, because it is a business at the end of the day. So you work out your finances, if you're doing your marketing, your business plan and strategy, because any of these things will be needed, especially if you need to get funding, if you're going for some sort of grant, anything to that aspect. They are going to ask you for these things. How are you running your business? That's the first question they're going to ask you. How are you going to answer that? It's just something to think about. It really is something you have to look at. They will ask, what are your goals? But from that, they're going to ask you, how are you running your business? And if you can't answer that, then you really need to sit down and just think about it properly, reflect a bit, and just start writing things down. It may not come all at once, but there must be some things that you do on a regular basis that you can put together to then say, this is my plan or my strategy, and this is how I can go further. And then you sit down, you put things together, and really make a full business out of what you're doing, a full process and plan then, that you can then say, yes, I own this, I know how things work, how things run. Fix and tweak as need be, but as I said, learn and practice the business of fashion. Thanks for that, Janice. And as I said, these things, thank you, Arnold. So you really need to put some extra work into it. So it's much more than a pretty dress and pretty packaging and maybe a pretty picture. So a lot more to the business of fashion. Just wanted to say that tonight and hope that this was insightful for you. If you have missed the beginning, it will be on our website hopefully before June starts. So we're looking at this end of this week or early next week. All of standard operating procedures. That's so true. Any and everything that you do on a daily basis that has a part of your business, it needs to be written down, and those procedures need to be there. Even the way that you respond to emails, how often you respond to emails, how often you call people, all these things are strategies and procedures that you must have in place. No problem, Sinead, you're welcome. So as I said, these things will be on our website, which is thefashionash.com. If you've missed anything, it will be there soon. And do have a good night. If you have any questions or any comments, you can leave them now. I'll stay on for a couple of minutes. If not, thanks, Janice. Don't worry, we're going to catch up soon. I will be in New York in September, so see you then. And any other questions, I'll fulfill them now. If not, we will sign off for tonight, and I should be back on tomorrow with another topic, obviously, but yes. Chat soon. Glad you did, Giselle. Thanks for joining us. Gosh, Nicole, you just came in. Don't worry, it's going to be saved, and I will share it with you as well as share soon with the website. September 6th, yes, I'll be there just before that, so I will be there around that time. We will chat, Janice. I'll be there for at least 2 weeks. What time tomorrow? It's usually around the same time, between 8:30 or between 8 and 8:30. That's no problem, Nicole. Hope all is well. Yes. Between Labor Day and New York Fashion Week, I'll be there, Janice. Good to hear. We'll be there. Hi, Desi. Sorry, I'm just signing off, though. I will find out. Please do send me an email, Janice. Anyone else that needs information in terms of meet on Friday. Yes, we are. Good night, Chris. Sorry, I'm just signing off in like 2 minutes. Nicole, I will message you, but I think we should be meeting on Friday. Janice, do send me an email and we will follow up in terms of anyone that wants scholarships. I could possibly on